and welcome back to Breaking the Chains, Healing from Emotional and Physical Abuse. Again, I am your host, Kelly. Happy Wednesday, you all. I hope you all are having a great Wednesday. Donations help to expand my podcast and produce more efficiently. Also, you all can purchase my merchandise by clicking the link in the description below. I am astonished at the continued support. I am really appreciative for each listener and each supporter of my podcast. Again, this is Season 9, Episode 2. Please feel free to comment in the comment section. I want this to be a community of victims and survivors of DV who share their horrific experiences, and we can lean on each other for support during our healing process. So before I state the title, I have a few questions if you would like to answer, which I would love to interact with my community of supporters and listeners. How did you find strength and hope during or after the domestic violence? Was it with a professional counselor, your faith, or a community? It could be several different methods that gave you strength and hope during or after domestic violence. So the title of this episode is called Victims and Survivors of Domestic Violence Are Pushing Through Their Pain. So let's discuss it. Victims and survivors are navigating through significant emotional and physical challenges during and after domestic violence. Victims and survivors of DV push through his or her pain, for he or she is built with extraordinary strength. While the horrific experience of domestic violence is profoundly difficult and painful, survivors demonstrate remarkable strength while pushing through his or her pain during their healing and recovery process. So here is, so now I'm going to state the 9 factors that contribute to survivors of DV pushing through to healing and recovery. Number 1, survivors should seek and accept support. Survivors should reach out to trusted family members, friends, and professional counselors or a psychiatrist. This is a crucial first step. Number 2, develop healthy coping mechanisms. Developing healthy coping mechanisms means the survivor acknowledges the trauma from domestic violence, and he or she takes steps to heal and recover from abuse. This includes strategies like speaking about your feelings, engaging in relaxing techniques such as massages, praying, and meditation, and pursuing activities such as hobbies, which will include exercise or other physical activities. Number 3, survivors reclaiming their power. Domestic violence usually diminishes a victim's self-worth and control. Survivors often find strength in asserting boundaries with his or her abuser or ex-abuser, making independent decisions with which will determine their lives after the abuse. 4. Learn from experiences and self reflection. Survivors should process their trauma and view it as a source of resilience and wisdom, and it will foster personal growth and strength. Number 5, build and maintain healthy relationships. Survivors must build and maintain positive connections with others, for it will reduce isolation. It will provide emotional support for survivors during and after the healing process. 6, prioritizing self-care. This includes a range of activities that nurture physical and mental well-being, such as healthy diet, adequate sleep, and engaging in stress-free activities. 7, finding the purpose for your life. This will involve, it could involve pursuing a higher education or rebuilding your career, pursue fulfilling relationships too, or advocating for other victims of domestic violence. Number 8, setting boundaries. A survivor sets boundaries with their abuser or ex-abuser to protect his or her energy. It creates a safe place for healing and growth. Number 9, connecting with your spirituality. A majority of survivors of DV find resilience and hope in their religious beliefs and practices. The survivors' religious communities gives you support and hope for a brighter future. 7 ways, now I'm going to be discussing 7 ways family or friends can be supportive of a victim being in an abusive relationship. Again, this is 7 ways family or friends can be supportive of a victim being in an abusive relationship. Number 1, be supportive and listen to him or her. Please make sure that you are in a private place away from his or her abuser. Stay focused on the victim's horrific details of their abuse. Please do not pressure him or her to talk about the abuse. The victim will share with you about their abusive partnership because he or she feels comfortable with you. And also, they trust you. Number 2, do not place shame, blame, or guilt on the victim. Do not say to the victim of an abusive relationship, "What did you say or do to make him or her angry?" Never say that. Instead, state to the victim of DV, does he or she get very violent towards you? Also, never state to the victim, did you engage back with your abuser? Just state to the victim of DV, I completely understand that you are in a very dangerous situation. Number 3, offer the victim specific help. You should always state to the victim of domestic violence that you are willing to listen to him or her at any time. Also, offer child care if needed, transportation, cleaning, cooking, grocery shopping, or many other ways to help the victim of domestic violence. 4, encourage him or her to speak to a professional therapist or counselor. Reassure the victim of DV there are free resources for professional counselors or therapists. This hotline advocates for victims of domestic violence, and if you are a victim of domestic violence, you can please write this number down. The number is 1-800-799-SAFE. Again, the number for this hotline for victim of domestic violence that offers free counselors for victims of domestic violence, the number is 1-800-799-SAVE. So that's 1-800-799-7233. Chat online, or you can also text START 88788. Again, if you're a victim of domestic violence, you can also text START to 88788. Or you can contact, let me restate that. Or you can contact, sorry about that. Or you can contact your health insurance company to make sure which professional counselor or therapist is covered with your plan. Hold on, I need a drink. Just a second. Number 5. When the victim of domestic violence tells you he or she wants to leave their abuser, help with a safety plan. When a victim of DV decides to leave their abuser, tell him or her of a safety plan. Here's some personal advice for a safety plan. Tell the victim of domestic violence to leave their abuser while he or she is at work or going to be out of you all's house for hours. The victim can go to a family or friend's home or go to a shelter for victims of domestic violence. 6. If the victim decides to stay with their abuser, be supportive. Many victims of DV decide to stay with their abuser, whether it's because of continuous threats from his or her abuser. It could be financial abuse or many other reasons. Please be supportive to the victim of DV until he or she decides to leave their abusive partner. Number 7, when the victim of domestic violence decides to leave their abuser, offer help. Even though their relationship with this, let me go back and start all over with that. Even though their relationship with his or her abuser is over, the victim will have a lot of different emotions to process through. Please be that family or friend that the victim feels he or she can lean on through this healing process. Hold on, I'm going to take another drink. Now, I am going to be discussing how can a victim or survivor feel empowered after emotional and physical abuse. The reason it is vital for a victim or survivor of DV to feel empowered after emotional or physical abuse because it restores the horrendous actions of your abuser. The victim or survivor can feel empowered after physical and emotional abuse by acknowledging the incredible progress you made by identifying the areas in your life where you regained control. Also, it will take rebuilding your self-confidence. A victim or survivor can rebuild his or her confidence by proclaiming positive characteristics about yourself daily. Here's examples of positive characteristics you can state about yourself on a daily basis, or sometimes you have to do it more than once a day. You can say, I am handsome or beautiful. You can say that you're courageous, you're honest, you're compassionate, open minded, creative, humble, and many more. What other positive characteristics that you can state about yourself daily or more than once a day? It is extremely important to feel empowered after emotional or physical abuse by having a support system. A support system is family and friends that help you heal from your abusive relationship. Another form of a support system is a victim or survivor of domestic violence meeting with a therapist, a counselor, or a psychologist. A counselor or therapist will help you during your healing process also. Self-care plays a vital role in the empowerment process for a victim or survivor of emotional or physical abuse. Self-care involves a victim or survivor improving your physical health and being happy again, which is enhancing your mental health also. A victim and survivor of DV should set clear boundaries with your abuser or ex-abuser. However, most likely your abuser or ex-abuser is a narcissist. The best option is to remain silent if they are a narcissist, because narcissists hate boundaries. Education plays an extremely vital role in the empowerment process for a victim or a survivor of emotional and physical abuse. Can research methods of empowerment, and you can explore which ones are extremely helpful for you. Lastly, you can bring awareness to victims of DV by sharing your story of surviving physical or emotional abuse. And I am going to state a very good paragraph by Shannon Thomas that pretty much talks about, how this, how our empowerment as a victim and survivor of abuse can help us, can help us and help others throughout life, and how the abusers don't want us to feel empowered after abuse. So here is the paragraph by Shannon Thomas. When survivors of relational trauma find freedom from the shame associated with being a victim, abusers hate it, and with good reason. Empowered survivors will not remain silent. Again, that's by Shannon Thomas. I'm going to restate that paragraph because I believe it is such a powerful paragraph by Shannon Thomas. When survivors of relational trauma find freedom from the shame associated with being a victim, abusers hate it, and with good reason. Empowered survivors will not be silent. In conclusion, it is vitally important to remember that the healing from domestic violence is a personal journey that takes time and effort. Survivors must prioritize his or her safety and well being. Acknowledge your horrific experiences and find the necessary support to move forward and reclaim your life. Your empowerment will be uplifting for many victims and survivors of emotional and physical abuse. Again, you can feel free to comment. Like I said, I want this to be a community of, I want this to be a community of victims and survivors of emotional or physical abuse. So feel free to share your horrific experiences, because I want us to be able to lean on each other during our healing process. Again, thank you all so much for your continued support. Donations help my podcast to expand and produce more efficiently. I am very appreciative for each listener and each supporter of my podcast. Have an amazing Wednesday.